there, I'm Sam, I'm a graphic designer, and I'm the founder of the Color Palette Studio, and I thought it would be really fun to do a little bit of a deep dive on body fonts. Body fonts are the font that takes up most of the text on your website, so think like paragraph text, blog posts, descriptions, product descriptions, bios. That's all body fonts. Like the thing that takes up the majority of the space in your website is body fonts. So I've put together a collection of my favorite free body fonts and premium body fonts, and I'm going to show you some of my favorites and give you like a little bit of background noise about why I love each of them. I also thought it would be kind of cool to do like a quick recap on the difference between a heading font and a body font, because it's important. Like it's important to know the difference. When we're talking about heading fonts, we are talking about like the main descriptive, fancier, funkier fonts of your brand. But body fonts are like the background. So a good way that I like to explain it is with SNL. With SNL, there's always the host, like the special person that you think of when you think of the episode. And then there are background actors. So even beyond cast members, there's like background actors. They fill out the scene, they make it what it is. It would feel really empty without the background actors. When you are thinking of the episode on Monday morning, you were thinking of the main host member, right? Or the person who hosted the episode. But there is a lot of background information that's happening with the background actors, and so you need to have them, but they're just less memorable. So when we think of heading fonts versus body fonts, heading fonts are meant to catch your attention. Body fonts, the role of those is to deliver information. Heading fonts are sometimes extroverted, so sometimes they're funky, they're cool, they align with the brand, like if it's a cosmic brand, they have a cosmic vibe maybe, but body fonts are always introverted. These should be so simple, dare I say boring. Heading fonts should match your brand's personality and design style, and body fonts should be boring. Don't get fancy here. So I'm going to show you some fonts today, and they might feel boring. Honestly, like as a graphic designer, I'm going to tell you that these are more boring fonts, but it's so important that you understand why they should be boring and how even with like a very simple body font, you can have a little bit of fun and like infuse your own personality. Your body font should never, ever, ever look like this. This would maybe make a good heading font, I'm not sure, but it should never be used as a body font. Body fonts should be introverted, calm, and simple. So I'm gonna kick this off with showing you some of my favorite sans serif body fonts, and these are all available for free on Google Fonts. So these are great ones to have in your toolkit to just remember if you are building brands and you want some good free fonts to add to your mix. Number one is Poppins. Poppins is like my go-to. I love how round she is. Like if you look at like the A, the C, the D, they're just very round. It takes up a good amount of horizontal space, which I really like. It's a great poppy, bouncy font. Another great one is Public Sans. Super readable, a little bit more narrow, so you can fit a lot more information in like a big paragraph. So if you have a lot of copy in your brand, Public Sans might be a great option. Super readable, and like for the untrained eye, it might be hard to tell the difference between some of these, but they have their little quirks. Railway, her quirks are in the W's and the capital W and the lowercase w. They're like, that's the iconic way to tell Railway. Very simple P and Q. She's just simple. She also has a little bit of bounciness in her numbers, so that's another great way to tell her apart. Like the 2 and the 3 just kind of have this like bouncy vibe. It's fun. It's kind of got like a classic twist to it. DM Sans, another classic. She is never going to be the drama, but she's always going to be very legible, very easy to read. I would say like I'm usually between Poppins and DM Sans when I'm picking body fonts, and Poppins is just more round and like maybe a little bit more youthful, and DM Sans is a slightly more mature, slightly more classic. But another reason I love DM Sans is because she has a sister, DM Serif. So you can use these two together to have a serif and a sans serif that go together, which I think is really fun. So now let's talk about some serif fonts, because sometimes a body font might be a serif. Serif body fonts, I will be honest, I choose a little bit less often. I like a sans serif body font, but I'm working mostly in the digital space, so maybe that's like a preference. But I'm going to show you some great serif fonts and why they're great, and they're all free on Google. So Liber Baskerville, I think this one's got like a very romantic, like I get like a feminine flow from this one. It feels graceful to me. I don't I really like this one. And it's free. The Q is just so romantic and beautiful to me. But even like the gorgeous curves of the R, like the lowercase r, I love. The J is just so flowy and beautiful. I really like this one. And the numbers, oh my goodness, like the numbers are classic. They remind me of the numbers that you see on like a house, like on a classic house. If it's like, oh, you live at 88 Anywhere Lane or something. I really like Libra Baskerville. Meriwether. Okay, so Meriwether is a little bit sharper. She's got a little bit more like rigidness to her. If you look at the capital M and N, she's got these nice, sharp, flat serifs on her. And where Libra Baskerville, the one I just showed you, was more romantic and flowy, this one's like a little bit more, like it sits up straight in its chair. It's got good posture, you know? Super good. Really easy to read. Noto Serif. Okay, Noto Serif is a font I believe designed by Google, and it's meant to be like extremely legible and super simple. So I think the Noto font families are really interesting because they're just like, they're designed to be simple and easy and non-dramatic. And they also have like a more narrow width. So like if you look at this lowercase b or this lowercase d, like you're gonna notice that they stand tall and they're not taking up too much space. They're not too round. Super easy to read, very classic, no nonsense, great font. Garamond. Garamond's got kind of like a classic serif vibe to her. I would say this one feels like, it sort of reminds me of Railway. Railway was the one with the cross W's. What Railway is for sans serif, I think Garamond is for serif. It's just, it's classic. There's a little bit of nostalgia to it. It feels retro in a sense, and I love the numbers. I love that lowercase 9. I think she's really fun. The lowercase 4 is like a classic 4. I think this is a great classic if you were looking for something that has a little bit less of a modern feel to it. IBM Plex Serif. This one, I would say, also reminds me of, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Meriwether. There we go. IBM Plex Serif stands up tall. She's got great posture, nice flat serifs here. And she also has a, she's more narrow. I don't know why I keep calling them all she, like they're boats, but to me, fonts are usually feminine. You can fit a lot of text, classic number suite. This is like a cross between Meriwether and Libra Baskerville. Like I would say this one is like neutral. It's not too romantic, but it's not too stiff either. Really fun one. I love the little bouncy like parts in the tail of the Y and the J. It's got like a little bit of roundness to it. It's a little fun, a little soft. Okay, now here's some of my premium body fonts. I would say for most projects, you do not need to have a premium body font. You can go with a free body font. But every once in a while, a client might want something a little bit fancier, or you might want to just make something a little bit bougier. So here are some body fonts that I have spent some money on that I think are yummy and delicious and great. First one is a Persu or a Perku. I never know how to pronounce it. I love this one. This is my favorite body font of all time. It's just gorgeous. To me, it's modern, it's bouncy, it's fun. There are so many brands that use this. Like Barkbox is a great example. Glossier uses this one. Chick-fil-A. If you really pay attention to this font, you're going to notice it everywhere. And to me, this font is just a feeling. She's warm, she's friendly, she's bouncy, modern, youthful, so cute. I love this font. The lowercase a is a great identifier. Like it's got a nice little shoop at the top. I could talk about that font for an hour, but I won't. Proxima Nova. Proxima Nova is like a great no-nonsense classic sans serif font. What I love about her is that she's never dramatic. She delivers information very clearly, and she's like a little bit more of a premium version of some of the classic free sans serif fonts. You know, it's very hard to tell the difference between this and like one of the free ones I showed you, but for the trained eye, you can see it, and this is just a really good one. Essential Sans is a sans serif designed by my font friend, Jen Wagner. This is a really cool one. I love how like rounded this one is. This one feels approachable and soft and very modern. Like if you look at the lowercase a and b and even the G, they've just got like a nice amount of roundness in their space. It's sort of like a more premium version of Poppins to me. Avenir. Avenir is a classic for a reason. This one actually has a pretty short X height. So if you look at the letters, they're a little bit more stocky. Let me see if I can go back. Like notice the O on Essential Sans, kind of like a little bit longer. and here, a little bit shorter. So Avenir is just a really fun one. It's just a classic. It's like Proxima Nova in that it'll never go out of style. It's a great font to have in your library. And Helvetica, I think I saw that Helvetica is like the #1 or one of the top fonts sold on myfonts.com. It's just a really good one. Narrow, if you pay attention to the O here, narrow, she's tight, she's tall. So again, when you see a font like this or a typeface like this, you're gonna be able to fit a lot of copy because they just take up less horizontal space. Another great one. Okay, and then if you wanted to learn more about pairing fonts, I did put together this tool called the Font Pairing Kit. This is a Notion database that has lots of different mix and match font pairings. So what you get to do is you first get to choose a design style, and then you get to choose a heading font that matches that design style. And I have a whole database of free and premium options that you can shop. And then I have a database of body fonts. So like a lot of the body fonts I showed you here and even more. You can choose a body font to match with your project, and then you can style your pairings with the font style guides that I made. This is a really fun tool. I will link it on the video, but I hope that you enjoyed learning more about body fonts, and if there's something more you wanted to learn about, let me know.